Hi, I'm Dan, and on today's edition of the Rock Nerd Radio Show, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Prime's Solus Prime.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So, like I said, we are taking a look at the new Solus Prime figure, and we're going to start by looking at her in her vehicle mode. Just to say, there is kind of some weapon storage. I'm pegging her hammer onto the top of the vehicle, but there's also pegs on the side here. So if you wanted to take this whole thing and peg it on the side, whoop, you can. And as you see, this does come in multiple pieces. So the hammer itself can break down, and you can change it however you want. But you can use it more of a like a side weapon if you want to. That option is there, and I think it does look kind of neat. And of course, you could do it on this side as well. But I'm going to remove the hammer for now. And we are just going to take a look at the vehicle mode. Now, here's the thing that I just want to address with Solus Prime right off the bat. I feel like she would have benefited being a Voyager and not a Deluxe. This vehicle mode is a little finicky, and there's a lot of little tabs, like right here by my thumb, and over here by my other thumb, and some pieces underneath that I have trouble tabbing them in, if I'm being perfectly honest. So with that, I feel like if she were a larger size, it would have been easier to tab her pieces together, maybe even re-engineer it. And she does, like I've said in the video for the Fallen, Megatronus, she does end up looking kind of small. So I feel like she would have benefited from being a larger size class. I feel like Deluxe almost is a disservice to her. There are still some very nice things about this figure. It's not a bad figure, but I did want to mention that. Now, again, to look at the vehicle mode, we have some nice golds and purples here. Gold windows, gold, headlights, gold highlights on the vehicle mode. And then some nice purples and grays and blacks. What will eventually be part of her legs are in gold there. And just spinning her around, she does look pretty cool. Underside, you can see a robot body and even some arms and some semblance of legs. But it hides the overall look pretty well. So, like I said, she's okay. I think she would have been better as a Voyager. Of course, as a Deluxe, she's about $25 in price. But overall, not bad. And these pieces, I think this looks really cool on the back of her like this. These actually will be part of her skirt piece in the front when she's in robot mode. But I think in vehicle mode, it looks very cool. Almost like a spoiler, if you will. So, like I said, it does look neat. Well, I think that's all I can really say about her. Like I've said multiple times when I talk about Transformer figures, I don't keep my stuff in vehicle mode. So let's transform her into her robot mode. So it's a bit of a finicky transformation, and I actually realized that I did transform these arms incorrectly, mostly because these little pieces tend to pop off on me a lot, and they're part of the wheel cover, so you can just pop them back in, and they should just pop right in. It's just a little post that, slides in, and just to get that arm back. They both popped out on me while I was transforming her. You probably saw it. You also probably noticed that her arms and feet popped out while I was transforming her. And I like to think that's not because I was being too rough with the transformation. But these are just very small pegs and posts, and they can pop out quite easily. They're just frictioned in there. I gotta make sure I'm doing this on camera. So, you just gotta make sure that when you're transforming, everything's in. She does have ankle tilt here, not up there. So that is something to point out. But there we go. Here is Solus Prime in her robot mode. And I think the robot mode actually shines quite well. I like this mode a lot. I think it looks very nice. And I think, again, the colors that she has really accent just how great this figure looks. Again, we have, bringing her in, some very nice gold on the head crest there, some nice piercing green eyes, that gray faceplate. Continuing on the body, you do see the nice gray and purples there, gold on the shoulder pads. Of course, these were like the headlight bits from before, so that carries over. The back, of course, is the top of the car, but it makes for a decent backpack. And then, of course, this piece that was the spoiler is now her skirt. Her knees looking very nice with the gold on them. Lower leg has the purple and gold, gray and purple at the top of the leg. Overall, she looks pretty cool. I can't really knock the robot mode. I'm glad that we've, made so many just great strides in female Transformers in the past, 6-7 years. We don't have like that War for Cybertron Chromia body that was used for so many female Transformers. We have this new, very different kind of looking female body. Like I said, could have maybe benefited from being a Voyager instead of a Deluxe, but still looks good. So, in terms of articulation, at the head, she can look left and right, and due to transformation, you can move that joint way up and down, but also still on a ball joint, so even without that transformation joint, she can headbang. Perhaps she is a metalhead. She's probably made of metal. Anyway, at the arms, will rotate fully. Shoulder pad does rotate with the arm, so it doesn't get in the way. Arms will move out that much. Shoulder pad does eventually get in the way, but you can really move this however you like. You can keep them like flared up, or you can kind of flare them down. I might flare them up, actually. I kind of like that. Actually, if you flare them up, when you move it, it kind of hits the backpack and automatically gets flared down. So maybe it's better being like this. We have 90 degrees of bend here at the elbow, and it will rotate there from the post at the elbow. You can see it right there by my thumb. At the hands, they can move in and out because of transformation, but they're on a ball joint, so you can really move the hand however you like. You can really get that into some interesting poses if you need to. She does rotate fully at the waist, and nothing really gets in the way, so you can get a nice full rotation, have her turn really however you like. At the legs, skirt pieces will kind of move with the legs, as you can see. So they can kick way up. She can get some high kicks in. She can also kick back pretty far. And the legs will do a full Van Damme. So there we go. What she has rotation-wise at the legs, I'm going to move the skirt piece real quick so you can see. It does rotate. Again, there's that post right here that kind of gets in the way of rotation. But if you just lift her leg up, you can rotate her a little bit more. Actually, I take that back. You can't rotate her all that much more. Yeah. So you can see the leg does kind of move in all kinds of crazy ways. But yeah, you got to just be careful. Like, see, now I'm done. Like, oh God, I just broke her foot off. Now I kind of messed up the joint. There we go. All right, there we go. So now she's back. I suppose you could kind of make the legs taller if you wanted to, based on how you rotate that leg joint there. So, all right. Continuing on down the leg, knee is going to bend about 90 degrees, like that. There's also at the top of the ankle, there is bend for transformation, but that can kind of allow you to have her kick back extra. And I do apologize. My cats are down here playing, so if you hear running around and scratching, it's just the cats going bonkers. We recently got a new kitten, so the older cat and the kitten like to play together. Anyway, continuing on, leg or ankle will rotate. You saw that post pop out a few times already. And then while we get a little bit of forward and back at the toe, we also get some nice ankle tilt as well. So yeah, she moves very nicely, and you can really get some dynamic posing on her. Whatever you really, whatever you're thinking, you might be able to get. She's not just going to have to stand there like a statue. She can move. She can, go around. Now, let's talk about her hammer, the Forge of Solus Prime, one of the 13 Prime artifacts. This does separate into a few pieces, so you can see there is the main hammer piece, all connected via that hole right there that will connect to this handle, which also has this piece, which, is just another part of the handle. Now, I'm going to snap just these two pieces together. I'm going to leave this separate for a moment. You may have noticed that her hands are indeed fully enclosed. They do not open and close. So in order to get her to hold her hammer, you do have to separate the whole hammer and then slide one piece up and then reconnect. So that will allow for you to have the full hammer. And it sits pretty well in her hand. It's a pretty tight grip. And, it allows her to, wield her weapon and look pretty good while doing it. You can get her into a variety of decent poses with this as well. You can have her raise it. It is her weapon. Like, so as if she was like Thor, she is raising the hammer into the sky. I'm going to raise my camera a little bit. Speaking of raising things. Just so that you can see that a little better. So there we go. She looks pretty cool with this. I gotta say, I really like her artifact that she comes with. I think it is one of the cooler Prime, 13 Prime weapons so far. Like Megatronus's cannon, the Requiem Blaster. I know, like, it's, again, one of those artifacts of the Primes, but, like, it just looks like something that you would expect him to have. Like, I think she would look fine without this hammer, but adding it to her makes her look really, really cool. So, what do you say we start doing some comparisons? Here she is with Prima Prime, otherwise just Prima. And honestly, between the two of them, I think she has a much better looking color scheme than Prima. I kind of voiced my opinions about Prima in my review of him. Kind of a boring color scheme. She looks a lot more interesting than him. And after that, let's put her with the Fallen. I'll raise my camera so you can see him fully on screen. But there they are together. You can see there is a significant size difference between the two. He is a leader class. He is big and bad and on fire, quite honestly. But there is a very large size difference. And one of the other reasons that I like these two grouped together, they have some matching colors. But also, I believe they were romantically involved in the Transformers lore. I believe they were partners. And if I recall the lore correctly, the Fallen became the Fallen when he used the Requiem Blaster against Solus Prime, who made it and killed her, which is what kind of led to him being kicked out of, the group of Primes, led to him becoming the Fallen. And for the hell of it, here she is with my custom put together Skybound Optimus Prime, using Megatron's arm. I really like that one. And here she is compared to the next Prime I'm going to review. Can you guess who it is? So overall, I think Prima is a pretty decent figure for your $25. I don't think she's perfect. I don't think she's the best. But out of the three on here, she's definitely ranked second. I think out of the Primes so far, like I said, I think she's my second favorite one. Megatronus being my first. And Prima, he moves well, but it's definitely just that color scheme. It's really bothering me. So, of course, we do have about 10 more Primes on the way. I technically have 2 more I could be taking a look at, and we'll get around to that very soon. But let me know what you think of Solus Prime in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. And remember, you can check out the Rock Nerd Radio Show podcast. It's a weekly podcast hosted by myself and my good friend Vinny, where we talk about all aspects of pop culture. You can check it out on your preferred podcast platform. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in, and until next time, I've been Dan. That's been Solus Prime. You've all been pretty awesome. I'll see you around.